Cherry, and today I'm going to be reviewing this book called Fancy Nancy Sees Stars. It's by Jane O'Connor. So, the book's about this girl named Fancy Nancy, but her name doesn't start Fancy, that's the book's name. So her name's Nancy, and so it's this girl named Nancy, and so she's at the school, and so they're going on a field trip at night to an auditorium. They see stars everywhere, and it looks so beautiful. And today, with her friend, he's going with his friend named Robert. And when they go home, they decorate their shirts like there's constellations in the star. They're like all the stars that connect and make a picture. So one of them is called the Big Dipper, and one is called the Big Hunter. So Robert made a big hunter with stars on his t-shirt, and then Nancy made a Big Dipper on her t-shirt. And then her little sister and them all were, they all made cookies of outer space, like stars shaped, and put sprinkles on them. And that night it rained and rained, and when the rain stopped, it was a big traffic jam, and it was so late they couldn't make it. And one thing, he said, we don't need to go to the auditorium. She said, we can make our own. So they took out a candlelight and some of the cookie stars, some of the cookies, and then they ate them while looking up at the stars. It was their own auditorium while watching their own stars. And so they invited Nancy's best friend Bree, and they all had fun. And there was a shooting star. So that's why Nancy, with all her might, made a wish. And then the next morning, the teacher said, because last night it was raining, none of us could go. Tomorrow, we're gonna go to the auditorium. And guess what? Her wish came true. So that's the story, and now I'm gonna read it to you. Nancy absolutely adores stars. She loves how they sparkle in the sky, and she can even name the constellations. Nancy can hardly wait for her class visit to the planetarium. Young readers will delight in the newest addition to the Fancy Nancy I Can Read series, sharing in Nancy's anticipation and disappointment when the trip doesn't go as planned, but with her trademark panache, Nancy managed to make even this frustrating situation fun and, of course, fancy. That's why the book is called Fancy Nancy. She's always too fancy. Stars are so fascinating. That's a fancy word for interesting. I love how they sparkle in the sky. Tonight is our class trip. Yes, it's a class trip at night. We are going to the planetarium. That is a museum about stars and planets. Mr. Glass tells us the show starts at 8. We will meet there. We all meet there. I smile at my friend Robert. My parents are taking Robert and me. That's the picture. So Miss Glass teaches all of them to dress up as planets. Then Miss Glass asks what star is closest to Earth. That's easy, it's the sun. What do you call stars that make a picture? Asks Miss Glass. Robert and Bree have both forgotten. I know, I see a constellation. Looks like I was right too. Miss Glass nods. On the wall are pictures. There's the hunter and the crab and the Big Dipper. It looks like a big spoon. We see all of them at the show. I can hardly wait. At home, Robert and I put glow-in-the-dark stickers on our t-shirts. Mine has a Big Dipper. Robert has the hunter on his. You're getting all fancy. We spin my mobile and watch the planets orbit the sun. Orbit is a fancy word. It means to travel in a circle. Then we pretend to orbit until we get busy. Uh-oh. I tried that once. Later, we bake star cookies. Sprinkles make them sparkle. The sun is a star. I told my sister it's the closest star, so we see it in the day. I knew that. It is a star. After dinner, we wait for the babysitter. She is very late. Dad says not to worry. We have plenty of time. At least we get into the car. Drip, drip, drip. It is raining. Rains all day, all night. The rain comes down harder and harder. Dad drives slower and slower. It is getting later and later. A policeman comes over. The road is closed. He tells my parents there is too much water. That's a funny way to close the world. Oh no! There are cars in front of us. There are cars behind us. We are stuck. The show is starting soon, Robert says. We will never make it. Drip, drip, drip goes the rain. Drip, drip, drip go my tears. Robert and I are so sad. We do not even want to eat any cookies. At last, the car moves and the rain stops. But it is too late. The night sky show is over. Done. By the time we get home, the sky is full of stars. They are brilliant. That's a fancy word for shiny and bright. I get a brilliant idea. Brilliant also means very smart. We can have our own night show. My parents get my sister. We set up beach chairs. Mom lights candles. Dad puts the cookies on a tray. We eat al fresco. That's fancy for eating outdoors. We watch the stars. We see the North Star. We see the Big Dipper. All at once, something zooms across the sky. A shooting star, Dad says. Make a wish. I tell Dad it is not a star. It is a meteor. But I make a wish anyway. The next day, Miss Glass says everyone missed the show because of the storm. So we will go next week. Everybody is very happy. And guess what? My wish came true. Fancy Nancy's Fancy Words. These are the fancy words in this book. Al fresco. Outside, eating outside is called eating al fresco. Brilliant, bright and shiny, or very, very smart. Constellation. A group of stars that make a picture. Fascinating, very interesting. Meteor. A piece of comet that leaves a blazing streak as it travels across the sky. You say it like this. Meteor. Orbit. To circle around something. Planetarium, a museum about stars and planets. So that's it. So bye, see you next time.